This is Dr. M. Lakshmi Narasimhacharya, Professor, Department of ECE, St. Peter's Engineering College. Today, we are going to talk about the space wave propagation. So here generally the mode of operation in electromagnetic wave in general atmosphere, the propagation in three mode of operations. Already know that there is a line of sight propagation, which is nothing but a space wave propagation, and the ground wave propagation and sky wave propagation. Already you know that the ground wave propagation, how the waves is propagating the ground wave, and the ground wave propagation of the wave as generally flowing in the both ways, that is the direct wave and the reflected wave. Direct wave means the wave transmitted from the transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna without any obstacle. So the another is the wave transmitting towards the receiver, but it is reflected back from the earth's surface. So that is the ground wave propagation. The ground wave propagation is operated under only the few kilohertz to the 2 megahertz, not more than that, which is applicable for the long distance communication, like you say that only a surface wave propagation, which is applicable in only few applications because the wavelength is more and the frequency is very less here. So here only a short distance, short wave communication this is. And the skywave propagation. The skywave propagation, which is operated under the above the 2 megahertz, that is 3 megahertz to the 30 megahertz, and which is applicable for the what we call the long distance communication, and it is generally used for the AM broadcasting as well as the long distance communication, like up to some 100 kilometers, like that, not more than that. So this is the frequency will be increases in megahertz, which is up to the 30 megahertz. But the other, of course, the skywave propagation ionospheric conditions is very important here. The ionospheric conditions means that is the layer below the ionosphere has a higher amount of air particles and the lower ultraviolet radiation, and due to this the more collision occurs and the ionization of a particles is minimum and not constant. If you are coming to the above the layer of the ionosphere, it have a very low amount of air particles and density of the ionization is also quite low. Hence the ionization is not proper in the above the ionospheric layer. But we will coming to ionospheric layer, it has a good composition of the ultraviolet radiation and the average air density that does not affect the ionization. Hence the layer has a most influence on the skywave propagation, and it what we call the appears the inverse layer operation also. That is the inversion layer. That means it have a lot of applications in the wave propagation. So in this the lot of applications in skywave propagation, already we discussed all these things in the previous lecture. So here this is what is the critical frequency, maximum visible frequency and the virtual height and skip distance, all will cover, all was covered in this the what we call the skywave propagation. Now we are going to talk about the space wave propagation. So this is called the line of sight propagation. Generally this is among the modes of propagation. This line of sight propagation is what we call the line of sight communication. So as the name implies that the wave travels a minimum distance of sight. So there is no obstacles between the transmitting and receiving, and which means in a travel to the distance up to which a naked eye can see. If for example you are going to measure an antenna measurements or anything, which will be done in only a free space like deserts and all, otherwise you will go to the anechoic chambers. But anechoic chambers is very costly, that is the crores of rupees, which is not able to affordable amount to make arrangement for the private industries. So it is only in the defense sectors like HAL or DRDO, like that, the anechoic chambers, the some special room is there, that is called the reflection free room. So that is the way we are going to what we call measure the antenna gains and all. But now we will coming to this is the line of sight propagation, which is the space wave propagation generally. So it is above the range of the 300 to 400 kilometers above range, which is the high frequency. It is a super refractive waves also available in this space wave propagation. Generally, okay, we'll coming to this slide one. So here the space wave propagation operates at the high frequencies like VHF, EHF and microwave frequency ranges, which is up to the 300 gigahertz like. So here it may be operated in the line of sight propagation. Line of sight propagation means there is no obstacles between the transmitting to the receiving antennas. That is, the signal propagation is clear, there is no obstacles, there is no wastage of power, but it have the some losses is there, that is called the path losses, reflection losses like that. It may be accountable. Okay, it may be operated in the LOS propagation. It is applicable for the satellite communication generally. So because the satellites are available at the height of the 20,200 kilometers above the distance from this Earth surface, or you say that the geostationary satellite is available in 36,500 kilometers from the Earth surface. So this is space wave propagation is applicable for the satellite communication generally, which is the airborne defense applications. This is also very important, airborne and defense applications, which is in space wave. And radar and GPS. Radar and GPS, which is applicable in the L band of operation, that is the 1 to 2 gigahertz frequency. So the GPS, the global positioning system, which is also L1 and L2 bands, same radar is also operated in the space wave propagation. So now the space wave propagation, which is the line of sight, clearly just to observe that in this figure, you say that here the surface of the ground, just you say this is if you will take two antennas, one is from the transmitting left side here and another one is in right side, HR, that is the receiving antenna. So HT is the transmitting antenna height, right, and you will take here the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna both will be there, HT and HR. Here you say that just observe that when a signal is applied at the transmitting antenna, the signal passes from the transmitter to the receiving antenna in the two directions. So one is the LOS clearly, line of sight, which is a direct ray, there is no obstacles, and the other one is a ground reflected ray. So here these waves occurs within a lower than 20 kilometers from the atmosphere, that is the troposphere. What is the troposphere? Generally we call it as 16 kilometers, 20 kilometers is called the troposphere. So in atmosphere itself from the Earth surface. So here which is applicable in this particular range? In this mode of wave propagation, electromagnetic waves after transmitted from a transmitting antenna reaches the receiving antenna either directly or after reflection from the Earth surface and the tropospheric region, right? So that is the direct wave and the ground reflected wave or indirect wave operation. This is the line of sight of the space wave propagation. So the space wave is even it is operated above the certain range, that is above the 400-300 kilometers, then that is called the micro region absolutely, which is a super refractive region. Generally you call it as on Earth itself, the two Earth stations will be there, and satellite is operated above the 36,000 kilometers or 20,200 kilometers above the Earth surface. So it is operated the satellite operation by using of the frequency ranges in gigahertz, which is in a space wave propagation. So here from the Earth station to the satellite, the uplink is there. When the signal is transmitted from the satellite to the Earth station, which is the downlink. So therefore uplink by downlink, which is the frequencies operated in C band, Ku band, Ka band and K band. These bands are operating for the satellite communication, which is in space wave propagation. So here the uplink is 6 gigahertz and the downlink is 4 gigahertz. Why the frequency changed from the uplink to the downlink? This is very important here. In the satellite, we have the transponders is there. What is the work of the transponders? It should be converting the signal to a particular frequency. So it have the lot of equipment, like you say that the avionics means that is the communication systems for the aircraft or any spaceships like that. So here in the transponder we have the n number of TWT amplifiers, that's the traveling wave tube amplifiers, which gives the maximum efficiency. So that should be power signals, which is automatically changes with respect to the frequency variation, that is the frequency down signals, and the satellite will send a signal, the 4 gigahertz of frequency towards to the Earth station. So this is the uplink and downlink communication. in a satellite communication. So now the shadow zone here, ideally field strength which is the receiving antenna, which is the formula ER is equal to 2 E naught by D, and the sine 2 pi HT HR by lambda D. So here sometimes when the receiving antenna and the transmitting antenna is not in LOS region, LOS means line of sight region, a zone is created where the field radiations are not utilized. This is called the shadow zone. If you will take a two antennas is there in figure, one is the transmitter, other one is the receiver. So it have in between them somewhat the hill is there. So it have obstacle. So therefore the transmitter signal which is propagating towards to the receiving antenna, but in between somewhat the obstacle is there. So therefore waves should touch this hill and lose some energy which is reflected like this. So this is the shadow zone, you say that. In the shadow zone, only part of the signal is flowing, but the 20 or 30% of the signal is losing here. This is the shadow zone, clear. So the field strength equation is related to this, the 2 E naught by D, the sine 2 pi HT HR, where HT and HR is the heights of the antenna system and D is the distance between the antennas. So here E naught is the field strength. So this is the field strength of the receiving antenna. So now this is about the shadow zone. Now we are coming to the radio horizon. You say that what is the radio horizon? It is defined as the distant point locus at which the antenna's direct ray becomes tangential to the planetary surface. Just to observe that here. This is the transmitting antenna, this is the receiving antenna. You say that the distance from Earth surface center to this, the transmitting antenna is the D1, the receiving antenna is the D2. You say that. So here heights of the antennas are HT and the HR, or you say that H1 and H2. So here these two antennas, transmitting and receiving antennas respectively, and the radius of the earth you say that A. So therefore it has some relation. A square plus D1 square is equal to A plus H1 whole square. That means what? Just to observe that here, this is the earth radius. So therefore A square plus D1 square, these two square equivalent to the A square plus H1 square. By using of that relation, where it is possible, generally you say that A square plus D1 square equal A square plus H1 square plus 2A HT. So therefore A square cancel, what is left? D1 is equal to H1 square plus 2A HT or H1, whatever it may be. So now you say since A is much greater than the H1, because the radius of the earth is very, very high. So therefore, which is comparative to the antenna height is negligible. So therefore, D1 is equal to root over 2A H1. And similarly for the receiving antenna, D2 equal to 2A H2. Alright. So this is about the D1, D2 distances. So therefore, what is the distance between the two antennas, which is indicated by D max is equal to D1 plus D2. Again you may take the relation from the above equations, root 2A H1 plus root 2A H2, where H1 and H2 are the antenna heights, A is the earth's radius. So that is the maximum distance between the two antennas. So now this is called the radio horizon. And now we will coming to this duct propagation. What is the duct propagation? This is a very important here. Duct propagation is a horizontal layer in the lower atmosphere in which the vertical refractive index gradients are such that the radio signal, that is you say that, or the light rays, whatever it may be, are guided or ducted. So tend to follow the curvature of the earth and experience less attenuation in the duct than they would if the duct were what we call not present. So therefore it acts as a dielectric waveguide, just generally you say that, and limits the spread of the wavefront, wavefront only. So the horizontal dimensions also. So now we used to take, before that we are going to talk about the M curves. What is the M curve? So M curve is very, very important here. Generally for a standard atmospheric wave propagation, to be studied the normal refractive index. Generally, normal refractive index is there for the general atmospheric conditions. So, but refractive index, it will be sufficient for the general conditions. But in some cases, but to understand a non-standard propagation, we require the modified refractive index. So, in atmosphere, all the way there is no same atmospheric conditions. It may be changes. The normal atmosphere, it has the perfect refractive index. If the atmospheric conditions will change, the refractive index will be changes. That is called the modified refractive index. The modified refractive index is generally, you say that which is indicated by capital N generally. So, which is what we call the depends on the height of the atmospheric condition from the Earth's surface and the radius of the Earth. These two parameters will take into the account. So, the refractive index is equivalent, modified refractive index is equal to actual refractive index plus the ratio of height from the surface of the Earth to the radius of the Earth. These two will be taken to the account. So, therefore, the modified refractive index is somewhat, we say that they are approximately equivalent to the 1, then it depends on h by r condition. That means from the Earth surface, how much distance is there, at what region we are going to take the duct propagation. So, that is called the h, and we will say that the r is the area, what is the radius of the Earth. So, therefore, hence the n is approximately equivalent to 1 when it depends on the h by r value only generally. Hence, we will consider that the n modified refractive index, which is the call it as a m, is equivalent to the n minus 1 into 10 to the power of 6. That is m, generally you say that. So, therefore, you used to take the relation. So, we used to take n minus 1, both sides will take minus 1 will be add. So, therefore, n minus 1 is equal to refractive index minus 1 plus h by r, you say that. So, already you know that what is the value, we got it, m is equal to n minus 1 into 10 power 6. So, therefore, the varied refractive index, which is n minus 1 to 10 power 6. So, 10 power 6 is either side will be multiplied, and we will get the M curve. M curve means, which is generally the inversion layer will be forming here. Generally used to take the warm air and the cool air and warm air. The two, this one is there. What we call the positive slope will be occurs at the lower frequency range, that is above the Earth surface, which is up to certain kilometers. If it is above the 60 kilometers or 90 kilometers like that, the ionospheric layer will come. Then the cool air will be will have, and a higher density is there. Then the tilt the wave in a negative slope. And again, when it reaches to the what we call above the ionospheric layer, and it again warm air will come. So, therefore, again positive slope will come. So, therefore, this is the inversion layer forming during the duct. Whatever the inversion layer is forming in between the two warm layers, that is the cool layer, the density will be little bit different, and that is called the duct layer, right. So, from this that is called the duct layer, and if we coming to this, the non-standard atmospheric condition, the simple refractive index does not occur generally. So, therefore, but when M curves are available, just now I given the what is the description about the M curves. So, which is completely depends on the height and the radius of the Earth, that depends on these two parameters h by r. So, therefore, the gradient, whatever m we got it, the dm by dh, the gradient of the m, that is a modified refractive index, and its what we call and its value depends on the tropospheric conditions generally. And the inversion layer, already just now I told that inversion layer, which is in between, sandwich between the two warm air areas, that is called the cool air is very high, and it comes the negative slope here. So, therefore, that is called the duct region, and lower density is there in a positive slope side, that is a warm air, it is the top and bottom. In the middle have the sandwich area, which is called the cool air high density area, that is called the duct. So here the reason where the atmospheric conditions the exactly opposite to that of the standard atmosphere. So that means what actually duct here? This is called the inversion layer. General atmospheric conditions, you know that what is the refractive index and all, but the non-general atmospheric conditions, it have the refractive index should be modified and it have arising somewhat a new layer, that is called the inversion layer. That particular layer is a non-standard atmospheric layer, which is called the duct layer. So therefore, for the standard atmospheric layer, you say that the slope of m is positive, but in a what we call non-standard atmospheric layer, which is indicated negative slope of the m, and it is indicated as a negative. So therefore, here this is called the duct region. So here a duct forming of the duct, when the temperature increases with the height over a certain range of height, this is the inversion layer should be formed, right? The temperature inversion layer should be, temperature inversion will be occurs, then that is called the inversion layer. When the inversion layer is sandwiched between the earth surface and the standard atmospheric region, then the cool air trapped between the two layers, right? That is that the cool layer acts as a duct for the radio waves, the cool air trapped in the inversion layer, right? There is a elevated inversion layer is present, and in such case the above and below the warm air. Already I told all this. So now here just you observe that high density to low density, the single hop will be there. If you will take the hopping will occur here. What is if you will apply a signal from the transmitting antenna, just observe that here. Duct is a leaky waveguide through which the electromagnetic wave move in the air by successive reflection and the refraction. When the signal move through the different layer, the signal may suffer from some losses. So that whatever the signal passing in the inversion layer is forming in between, sandwiched between the earth surface and the topmost atmospheric layer. So that layer is called the duct. While the propagating of the wave in between that particular region, in the cool air region, then it should be tilt like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to how many tilts is there here? Hopping, 4 hops is there. Multi-hopping is there. This is the reason. It sends the signal from the transmitter and receiver, the receiver, which is hit the like this. The 4 what we call the hops will be there. This is the multiple hopping. So this is about the duct propagation. The conditions for the duct propagation generally, just to say the transmitting antenna will inside the duct generally. Just to observe that the transmitting antenna is placed inside the duct itself only. The red mark is the transmitter. And similarly, the reflected wave enter the duct at a very low angle of the incident. Just to observe that the low angle of the incident, this is a condition. So this is about the duct propagation, which is applicable in the space wave propagation. So now the application of the space wave, generally it is used in the radio communication, microwave links, and the mobile system and the satellite systems. If you coming to the satellite system, generally used to take the how it should be covered the space wave propagation across the globe. For example, you take the earth surface, the 2 earth stations will be providing the on earth surface, but the satellite is there. Satellite is above the earth surface 36,000 kilometers or 20,000 kilometers height from this. So how it should be operated? It should cover only 120 degrees. And if we take the 3 satellites should be available, other 240 degrees also 3 satellites is there. So it will cover the 360 degrees. But generally used to take the 27 satellites is available. Out of the 24 satellites are fixed satellites across the globe. At any time you may see minimum 4 to 8 satellites is visible, which is meant for the GPS, and all satellites operated with that whatever the satellites is fixed across the globe, right? So therefore, it should be covered the 360 degrees. Okay, this is about the space wave propagation. So this space wave propagation have excellent applications in general. That is the high level communication, like what we call the satellite communication and airborne applications, all will consider in the space wave propagation. Thank you.